Your mother was a professor of Greek?
She was a
Classics.
professor of classics. She was interesting, very interesting woman. She was a power woman in her day, but she was actually trained as a chemist, but she was also a very broad-minded person, and she worked as an industrial chemist. And when she was asked to come back to this university, Vincennes University in Vincennes, Indiana, near the farm where I was born, she was asked to teach classics, and she taught Latin, and I had heard that she taught Greek, but I'm not certain of that. But ancient literature and American and British literature. So I read a lot of that in my day. I learned to read Latin, among other things. And I think that did give me a broad view. The other thing, which was, we always had books at home. And we were on a farm. We were isolated.
Talk more about your early childhood. Where were you born and when, and what did your dad do?
Well, we were born on a farm. I was born in 1925. We didn't have a radio. We didn't have any of those things at the time. And so books were our communication. And we did, one of the things which was really important, which opened the world for me, was National Geographic. We always got the National, I read them all. I mean, that was my father was we had a modest-sized farm. It was about 300 acres, which was not bad size in those days, but today it would be considered a small farm. And I learned a lot from my father. I was trying to please my mother, but my father I learned a lot from. And I think my mother would put him up to this, of course, to help. But I remember when I was very small, I would have chores on the farm to do. But as soon as I got a little bit older, instead of giving me chores, he gave me projects. For example, he would say, this summer, you take care of the orchard. And what you're supposed to do, here are the books, you read the books. You have to know when to spray things, when to trim, do all that. That's your project. And the next summer it might be you take care of the hay crops. Or maybe the next summer would you take care of the garden. And I know one of the things I had a big responsibility in was taking care of the melon crop, which we grew during that time. And then he would never pay me.
Did he let you fail?
Yeah, he would let me fail, but he would coach me, I mean, watch and so forth. But he let me stumble, I would say. That's probably right. Never quite let me totally fail. But I know that he didn't pay me, and he would say, here's 5 acres of land, you grow something, you sell it, you keep it, that's your payment. If you don't grow and sell anything, you still keep working. So that was a motivation for me to do that. And what does a boy do, a kid do? You grow the things that you can grow in the summer and sell in the summer. Well, you're not in school. So I grew produce. And I grew sweet potatoes, I would grow strawberries, I grew melons, I grew sweet corn, so a lot of sweet corn, and popcorn, grew popcorn. And my father then discovered I was making more per acre than he was. So he said, let's expand this deal. So instead of 5, we'll do 20, you get your percent, and so forth. It was just fine. And by the time I left to go to the Army, out of the 300 acres, we had 40 acres of produce, which is a pretty big produce farm when you think Webb Ranch is only 30 acres. And then my brother, who's still living, one sibling that I still have living, runs this farm, and he now has 150 acres of produce. So it did transform the farm.